Hey everyone, I'm Sean at Shock Surplus. Today we are going to go over the old Man EMU BP-51 internal bypass coilovers and shocks on the Tacoma. We just equipped the truck with these coilovers, which come with a reservoir, come with rebound compression damping, adjustment, and also internal bypass. So that basically means that there's a lot going on within this 2.8 inch thick body. We verified that the body on these are 2.8 inches. So yes, that number is bigger than other brands' 2.5 inch shocks, but that's to leave a lot more room inside for the internal bypass oil sleeves and also for the compression and rebound damping adjustment. Those damping adjustments are achieved on the body itself. So there is a ring here for compression damping, and then there's a ring here for rebound damping. And that's achieved with a wrench that I seem to have misplaced. Got it. So this wrench here has a little hook, and you hook it on to the front and you twist. You definitely need a lot of strength to twist. It's going to be a lot more difficult as well with the tire here. You're probably going to be at this kind of angle to get that done, both rebound and compression. It's not too hard when you figure it out, but it's also not as easy as a Fox, Icon, or King adjustment, which is present on the reservoir. So this reservoir is mounted here in a similar position to other brands as well. So it comes with its own reservoir mounting bracket that plugs into existing holes already on the frame, so you don't need to do any extra drilling. That's always a plus. They do have specific left and right units, and that's not based on the coil spring on the coilover, but rather the reservoir position. So keep an eye out for that when you open up these shocks and start sorting out your parts for which corner goes where. These front coilovers are right now adjusted at about 20 millimeters preload, which is the max recommendation from old Man EMU. You can go more, which will give you more ride height, more lifted ride height. We're getting about 2 3/4 to 3 inches of lift over factory height on 20 millimeters of preload. We have a aftermarket steel bumper here with a light duty winch in front, so it's a little bit heavier than factory. Haven't done the calculation. We basically give or take 100 pounds over. So a little bit of a difference, but we are still seeing about 3 inches of lift with that 20 millimeter preload. You can preload, if you preload it nothing at all, you're basically going to be at factory height. And it kind of goes up from there in increments. So you can make your guesses. In the old Man EMU book, it has recommended preload amounts and how much lift you should expect to see. So we're lucky enough here to have a coil spring compressor. So we were able to set it once, make some adjustments and set it again. That's not always so easy without a heavy duty coil spring compressor. So just keep that in mind before you go and install the shocks. First impressions so far on the rebound and compression damping adjustments. Out of the box, they felt pretty soft for our vehicle. We typically have our vehicle loaded up with a lot of extra gear. We have recovery gear in the back at all times. We run that rooftop tent on top most of the time. We use it quite a bit. And we also have general camping gear with us as well. So we're estimating between 400 and 500 pounds constantly loaded on the vehicle. So that makes a difference, especially when the weight is pretty high up on the truck. So we are running firmer settings in the back than in the front, but out of the box, everything felt a little bit too loose for our liking. So we've been playing with the settings here or there, and we're going to be bringing you guys more information on exactly where to get those settings at for your needs and really what is optimal for you. There's not going to be one solution for everybody. It's really on how you drive, whether you just want a plush ride all the time for your daily drive and then you'll make settings adjustment for the weekend, or if you're seeing a lot of dirt and you want to run just really good control all the time. There's always trade-offs. If it's too soft, less control. If it's too firm, less comfort. But some people don't care about that, like us, and we run it firm all the time because we like a tight handling vehicle. Yeah, let's move on to the back and we'll show you what that setup looks like. Hey guys, so now on the back of our Tacoma with the BP-51, we're going to show you the setup here. Some things we had to change around when we changed out the icon setup, but these shocks, once again, same diameter of the front shocks, 2.8 inches. It's a lot easier here to show exactly how these shocks work. So the internal bypass function, and let's back up a second. The BP-51 is bypass, 51 meaning the size of the active piston in the main body. So even though this is a 2.8 inch shock, roughly equivalent millimeter size would be about 65 millimeters. But we're at a 51 millimeter piston inside because there's another main body underneath this body. So essentially twin tubes. Once the main body is active inside, the internal bypass are essentially bleed ports in the main body where it allows the oil to come out, bypass that piston and recirculate inside the shock for the rebound action. And up and down it goes, circulating that oil around the piston, mainly in the major ride zone. And this is to provide comfort on like washboards, the streets, that kind of situation. Down here on the compression and the rebound damping adjustments, these are for much more fine tuning. Kind of showed you on the front how to get that adjustment done, but back here, it's a lot easier to do. The shock will turn a little bit. You can see it kind of shift in its mount, but don't worry, the lower mount's going to keep that in place. It takes a little bit of an oomph to get that going. Make sure it's correct. Make sure these are also clean too. If these are dirty and you're putting metal on metal, it's really just going to ingrain that dirt and rock into the body. So no big deal, no functionality effect, but just a heads up. This reservoir hose is quite short. We weren't quite expecting how short it was. This can almost be ran as a piggyback, but I don't think that was an option for this setup. So we had to remove the Icon hydraulic bump stop, which was set up right here. And here's the strike plate for that bump stop. So we have yet to create a new solution there because where that bump stop was, it was here. We may be able to shift it back, but we'll see. Other notable things on this setup is that the lower mount comes with a new kind of shock relocation on the bottom, and this basically makes it so that it's a little bit more vertical orientation for that shock. The more vertical the orientation is in relation to how the axle travels, the better and more consistent dampening you have. If the shock is at too much of an angle, you actually have to tune the shock a little bit differently because of the way the energy transfers from the axle to the wheel to the shock. So you're seeing a lot more now of aftermarket manufacturers coming with lower shock mount relocation brackets to better orient that shock away from the axle. Other than that though, the install was pretty seamless. We don't recommend running the shock guards that come with these shocks because it makes it nearly impossible to access these settings while the shock guards are on the truck. Learned that the hard way. Got really frustrated not being able to make those adjustments, but we've since removed the guards because we make a lot of adjustments to this in our ride tests. Maybe old Man EMU kind of decided that their settings wouldn't be done with as much frequency as we like to make the adjustments. So you can put the shock guards on, droop out the wheel to access the settings, but that's not typically how we like to do it. So we remove the guards, allows much easier access to these adjustment dials, and you'll be good to go. But beyond that, we'll be bringing you guys some more results a little bit before and after ride test, see how the truck handles with fully loose compression, fully loose rebound, a mix and match of high rebound, low compression. We really want to show and exemplify how these shocks work and how it affects your ride control and general overall experience on the trail, because that's really what it's about with good equipment, making your trail ride fun, allowing more fun, and being confident in being out there and no equipment failure. That's always a plus. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to bring you more about this Tacoma.